So I'm really pissed off because I started recording this only to realize that my mic wasn't set up. So I have to go through all of this again. Great, wonderful, fantastic. Maybe now I'll be able to actually word things properly. There's already been a screen to show what this video is going to be about. So obviously this video is only directed towards a certain group of people, that being self-harmers, and more specifically self-harmers on the internet, you know, who take part in self-harm Twitter and things like that. I want to make it very clear that I'm not going to be using descriptive language because I understand that can be quite not very nice to hear. I know it's not nice for me to hear. I'm definitely not going to be showing any screenshots because I don't want to put these people out there more, and I, God forbid, don't want to put anything out there that might make anyone feel a certain type of way, you know? So I'm going to try my best to be very careful with what I say, if at all, throughout any point in this video. It's going to be a short video, but if at any point during this video you start to feel uncomfortable, unwell, please click off, okay? I don't like to give trigger warnings, and I don't like to do this serious, but like, please. There's been an issue recently with self-harm TikTok, Twitter showing up on random people's feeds, right? You know, like for me personally, I don't interact with that side of Twitter, and yet it still pops up on my feed. And people have been getting really frustrated with this. You know, we don't want to see it. I saw someone yesterday asking the question, why is it that people get offended or upset over this when these accounts, you know, follow you, or when these accounts just pop up randomly? Why is it so upsetting? And this wasn't coming from one of those accounts. This was just someone genuinely asking. Like, they just didn't know. They haven't seen the worst side of ED or self-harm Twitter, so they didn't know how bad it could be. Now, someone was in the comments, and again, I'm not going to use descriptors, but they were explaining the more nastier side of self-harm and ED Twitter. In the self-harm community on Twitter and, you know, places like Tumblr and stuff, people have specific names for specific layers of skin that you can reach when cutting yourself, okay? I'm not going to tell you what those names are because the imagery that comes along with it, it's not nice, okay? I'm just going to be real with you. It's not fucking nice. People who are in this community know exactly what these certain names mean and what they are referring to. And this person who responded had used one that I'd never heard of, but I knew immediately what they were talking about. It just made my skin crawl. It reminded me of back when I used to be on self-harm Tumblr. Because yes, I was a part of that fucking cesspit. It reminded me of a post that I saw on there. And this post was basically a girl, and she was practically foaming at the mouth at the idea of cutting to a certain point, cutting to a certain layer of skin. And she was getting annoyed at herself. Sorry, my voice is cracking. She was getting annoyed at herself for not being able to do it. There was this like clear romanticization, is that how you say it? Romanticization of more damage and the becoming more extreme. Looking back, it hurts to think about that because I understand it. You know, I have been there, done that, wore the t-shirt. I know what it's like, and I understand when you get so deep into an addiction like this, the satisfaction that you crave, you need more. It needs to get worse, and I get that. Now that I have experienced it, though, to a point where it was very, very dangerous for me, it's hard to watch people romanticize it and yearn for it in a way, right? If anyone who is watching is in that same mindset, I need to tell you, it's not worth it. It is not worth it. The satisfaction is not worth it. There is nothing satisfying about being terrified of what you have just done and not realizing what you've just done. There is nothing satisfying about bleeding everywhere. There is nothing satisfying about having to go and get help because you don't know what to do. There is nothing satisfying about being scared that you could get an infection to the point where you may have to get an amputation. There is nothing satisfying about having nurses ask you if you still have function in your hands because you have cut so deep that you might have just hit a nerve. There is nothing satisfying about having multiple nurses having to be there, to hold your wound together, because it's so deep that one nurse cannot do it herself while she stitches you up. There's nothing satisfying about this imagery. It's the type of image that will stick with you. It is the type of wound that will make you feel shame again. Because when you're that far gone, when it comes to self-harming, you stop feeling shame. You stop feeling guilt. But it will bring that back. And it will be 10 times as worse as it was when you first started. There is really nothing good about this. And that is a promise. I cannot tell somebody not to hurt themselves. I would be a massive hypocrite. And I understand better. I know better. It's not that easy. It's not that simple. But if I can do anything, it's to tell you that it's not worth it to keep going. The worse you get, the more far gone you are. It's very hard to come back from. And places like Twitter are not the places that you need to be. It was never a safe space for you. It was only a space that would continue to trigger you and continue to make you want to go further. It's only going to be your detriment. It is never going to be the place that you want it to be. It is never going to be the place that makes you feel safe or makes you feel heard or makes you feel seen. As much as you might think it is, I understand, but it's not. If you are on this side of the internet, please take it from me. I know you don't know me. I know that I am a nobody to you. But please take it from me when I say it's not fucking worth it. And you will be so much better off if you get out now.